So we'll get started here. The first thing is talking about wrong answer types. And in reading comprehension, I think we've thoroughly gone through the idea of looking at passages and then going back to the passage after we've looking at the passage, reading it, identifying what the passage is about, looking at questions, identifying the type of question, and where to go back into the passage. Sometimes we've gone through all of these steps and we're not 100% confident with what we have, predicted as an answer choice. And then we're kind of like, how can we make ourselves more confident in choosing it? Well, the best way is, if you can't find your prediction, is start to eliminate wrong answers. So let's write that in. So you should eliminate wrong answers. Cross out the ones that don't look good, if you want to put it in very colloquial style. But eliminate wrong answers. And there are 5 types of answers which are prototypical wrong answers. And you guys might think, really? I mean, these are different passages. How could you have a prototypical wrong answer? And they give us these 5. The first one is called out of scope, which means it was never mentioned. You'll read an answer choice and you'll say to yourself, I don't remember that in the passage. If you don't remember that from the passage and it wasn't there, it wasn't there, and it's not going to be the answer. So never mentioned or out of scope. Number 2, extreme.
When they use like always or never.
Correct. Emma's right on it already. Always, never. Answers that say everything or everyone, right? Those are extreme. Although in conversation, we get away with saying that to be emphatic. Usually when we're trying to put emphasis, yeah, I do this all the time.
Every single day.
Every single day. Right. But then if you say, oh, do you watch America's Got Talent? Yeah, I watch it every week. Did you see who made it to the next round? No, I missed it. Wait, I thought you watched this every single week. Well, okay, not. Okay. So especially when you see it on paper, it's much more obvious. And so you got to knock those answers out right away. Distortion, also known as half right, half wrong. You're reading it, you're like, hey, this looks like straight out of the passage. I totally recognize this. And then by the end of that answer choice, you're reading it and you're like, huh? That's kind of weird. I don't really know where they got that from. I don't know where they're going with that. If it distorts it and it becomes half wrong, it's totally wrong. Okay? The next one is misuse detail. This is the hardest one. Misuse detail means true but irrelevant. So a question might say, in line 23, something, something, and then you read one of the answer choices, and you're like, hey, that's totally true. It's from line 50, right? That's pretty far from where they have pointed us. So most likely, it is not the right answer, even though it is true. So that's very, very common. So what we're going to do here, these are not full passages. These are mini ones, just so that we can focus on this exercise of identifying wrong answer types. So take like a minute to read this, and we'll do this all out loud, and we'll talk about what the answers are right or wrong. Yes?
What?
Go ahead.
What did you say opposite was?
Oh, did I skip that? Oh my gosh, I did. Opposite means if the answer was something like, the author likes, the author used this word in order to describe his passion for something. The opposite would be the author used this word in order to describe this strong dislike, right? It's totally opposite. You're like, where did they get that from? It's totally the opposite of what is true. And so that would be how. Okay.
So you're just kind of, someone's skipping and just looking for a word they might hit it, even though it's the exact opposite.
It might be the exactly that, Emma. So that's what that is. Okay.
And then you just want us to read this tiny little paragraph.
Just read it for a second. We'll go through these 2 questions together. It shouldn't take very long. Just look up if you're, yeah. She's already playing her part. She must be done. So this is a really brief paragraph. It's not the entire thing, but you can tell there's a lot of details in here. Let's go. Yeah, Jeremy?
Not about a question. I thought a lot of the details were kind of not needed.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of details in there. So you want to do the first question, read that for us, tell us how you would do it. Just lead us through on this.
According to the passage, that storm was particularly destructive because, so the passage says that it was unexpected. It says it was strong, devastating power, or swift and silent approach. So I guess that the right answer would be something related to it being surprising. People were unprepared, and it was like particularly strong.
Okay. Good.
And preparations for the storm were especially diligent. Now, that was easily warm weather created especially strong winds. Now, mild weather that preceded it made it a surprise, probably had a notably devastating effects on automobiles. Let's see.
Correct. That his prediction was right on, and then when he saw it, that was obviously the answer. That was good. It was the mild weather before it. Did anyone think of a different answer? Let's talk about why these are wrong answers. You got the right answer. Does anybody want to kind of label, based on these 5 classic wrong answer types, why they're wrong? What about A? Does anyone want to chime in on that? Go ahead, Dominic.
That one seems opposite.
Yeah,
These says that they're usually so diligent, but this time they weren't.
correct. So that's opposite. What about B? Emma, what do you think about that one?
For B, it mentions it later on, but it mentioned it as like, this is why I was more sad. I don't think it was answering the question, but I think, like, out of.
Can you fit it into one of those 5? Yeah, B. Does it fit into one of the 5 classic wrong answer types?
That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Misuse detail, I think would be right. Like it's.
Is it true?
Oh no.
The strong winds are caused by unseasonably warm weather.
Oh no, this is not true.
That's not. Jeremy, what do you think of this one?
I think it's distortion.
It's distortion. Why distortion?
Because it says that there was warm weather before it, but they're using it improperly in that answer.
Warm weather caused these people to think, oh, no storm.
Yeah.
They didn't prepare, and then suddenly this storm came and the snow came, and they were like unprepared.
But the warm wind was not the cause. It just kind of did.
It was half right, half wrong. Part of it sounded right, and the second half was like, no, that doesn't sound right. So that's good. Okay, good. You guys are getting the hang of this. C was the right answer. What about D? What do you think of this one? Jeremy Hubinger. I caught you with pizza. Sorry. Yeah, that's a misuse detail because they do mention damage, but that wasn't why it was particularly destructive there. Great. Let's go to number 2 here. Emma, do you want to read that one?
Sure. The passage is best described as.
This one you're going to have to look at the
Yeah,
answers and kind of go through it.
A theoretical exploration of a hypothesis. I don't think this is a hypothesis. I think it's someone talking about something that happens to them.
Okay, good.
A personal account of a memorable event. I'd say yes. A proposal for prospection, no. A narrative of a tragic occurrence. I don't think that it was tragic, just because the car had vents in it. But I don't think that would make it tragic. So I'd either say B or D, but because it says tragic, it sounds extreme, so I'd say B.
Good. Explanation was right on. The word tragic should only be used when?
Like it's like life-changing death sort of experience.
Yeah, Jeremy said it right there. If you think of Greek tragedies, the hero dies at the end. That's why they call it a tragedy. Instead of him being victorious, he always dies. It's almost like Shakespeare, all these Romeo and Juliet, Othello, Macbeth, all of these characters, they die at the end or they're condemned or something like that. but they're tragedies. Nowadays, when you hear the word tragedy, if you hear it on like news, it's usually because death. If death doesn't occur, it's extreme use of the word. Like, it's not like you say, did you watch The Voice last night? Oh man, I missed it. Oh, that's tragic.
I mean,
No.
you might say that.
Well, that could be sarcastic.
It is, but it's just misused. What happens?
It's misused, but it's
Yeah.
misused commonly.
It's common, it doesn't justify it. You guys have already heard my rant about using the phrase "I lied." You guys have heard that, right?
No.
No? I didn't talk. Oh no, I gave this to my 8th graders. Sorry. I cannot stand it when a lot of people make a mistake and say, "Oh, I lied." Do you know why I don't like that? Because it cheapens how big of an offense a lie can be. A lie is an intentional non-truth to mislead other people with a non-truth. Okay, it's not like today is Thursday. Oh, I lied. It's Tuesday, right? I didn't intentionally want to mislead you by saying today is Thursday. When I realized it's Tuesday, it's a mistake. A mistake is not a lie. And I know a lot of people casually say, "Oh, today's Thursday," and then they say, "Oh, I lied." It just sounds extreme, and it cheapens how bad a lie is. Because I don't know if you guys keep up with politics and all that kind of stuff, but all these hearings that go on and all that, it's because people lied, and it's a very stark violation, right? The government is taking it very seriously, and that's why they are investigating these people. So anyways, I'm just being too grown up here and more serious about words. But anyways, good explanation there. Let's do another passage. Go ahead and read this. We'll talk about it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If sarcasm is used, does that make the exaggeration, the like improper use of the word, not improper?
It would have to be noticeable in a passage. It's usually a narrative passage that may use it, or usually it's very noticeable to have sarcasm.
Okay.
But yeah.
But does that change the fact that it's untrue or not?
That doesn't change. I mean, you're gonna have to read into it to know that it's sarcasm. If they had something like that. I've seen it once in a while. It's academic sarcasm, which is different than casual sarcasm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys all ready? Okay, let's talk. So Dominic, I want you to go right into the questions here. Go ahead and read this one.
Sure.
Tell us how you did.
According to the passage, the jaws of sharks of the Devonian period indicate that these creatures, well, the passage said that they relied more on stealth and luck, and that they were less sophisticated.
Right.
Their like
Okay,
uses of attacking stuff.
great.
So A is we're less able to obtain food than modern sharks. No, that one seems to be yeah, that seems to be
Is there a category for just incorrect?
I think that's misused.
I wouldn't say it's misused detail means true,
Oh,
but irrelevant.
I would say it's out of scope.
Yeah, it's not mentioned that they were unable to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I would agree with you on that.
Yeah, so not A. B is have less sophisticated predatory behaviors than modern sharks. Yes, let's say that.
Social
predatory behavior is significantly less sophisticated social dynamics, much more primitive than today's species.
Yeah, so that one sounds good. D is hunted small prey that modern sharks will not pursue. That is distortion because they did hunt smaller prey, but they never talked about if modern sharks would pursue them.
Okay, all right. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's so they relied on small prey. These had different hunting styles from those of modern sharks. This one sounds kind of okay, but like they never really talk about it, the hunting style. I guess I'd go with B because it's the one that like directly relates to the text.
So here's the question here. Does this sophisticated predatory style relate to weak jaws or to small brain case?
Relates to the small brain things. Yeah.
So B would not be the answer. It was close, but not exactly the answer.
And B, then would be C, hunting small prey. Or well, no, I guess it would be D.
The answer is D. Even though it didn't sound as obvious, the hunting style is stealth or luck, rather than overpowering the other fish. So that would be the answer on that one. So it's kind of tricky. Excuse me.
Still getting over that?
I don't know if it was something I ate or there, but just go, Jeremy. Number 4.
Well, just characteristics that suggest these ancient creatures were limited to small prey and relied on stealth or luck rather than brute power. So A, sight and quality largely lacking in modern sharks. Opposite.
Right.
B, indicate the superiority of more subtle hunting strategies. No, they don't talk about superiority. C, list a characteristic compromised by break cases. No, they don't talk about like how it's compromised by break cases. And D, offer comparison to modern sharks. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's saying that the Devonians they lacked brute power, so they relied on stealth and luck. Comparison to modern sharks would be your best answer on that. I like how you guys are adopting these wrong answer things, so it gives you more confidence to say no to an answer, because the thing that we wouldn't want to be in is a situation where we said maybe to 3 of the 4 answers. That doesn't make us much better off than where we started from, right? Okay, good. Excuse me. The next one is different. When you look at it, there's no answer choices. Obviously, that's not the real SAT. But the point of this is for you to think like a test writer. And for you to think like the test writer, I want you guys to come up with this and then write in your own answers. We'll share them and let's see if we can guess each other's right answers here. So go ahead and do this for a couple minutes. I'm going to get water for a second. So.
Probably. I have a poison test. Yeah.
Think of wrong answers too. Yeah, I mean, this is just for the sake of exercise more than it is anything else. start a discussion. That was plenty of time to talk about this. Dominic, you want to start us with number 5? Tell us what you did with it.
Sure. So should I just read the question and then the answer?
Yeah, your answers, and then don't tell us what the answer is.
Yeah.
We'll let somebody guess.
Okay, so as used in the passage, celebrated, line 2, most nearly means A, despised, B, ridiculed, C, praised, D, liked.
Okay, Emma, what do you think?
So it's liked, praised, ridiculed, and,
Despised.
well, I know that it's, the first 2 that I mentioned are the last 2 that you mentioned, so it's either liked or praised. Long as liked and praised, I would say. I mean, it's a high word, but I would.
What is your answer then, Dom?
Praised.
Praise. And why praise rather than liked?
Because celebrated is more similar to praised. Liked is more, for me, liked is more like.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, I would say since she was well known as an author,
Yeah.
she wouldn't necessarily have to be well known if she was liked. Like people say, yeah, that's my friend. She writes books on the side, right?
Yeah.
But Louisa May Alcott was celebrated, famous in a way, So I like praised on that one. Okay, number 6. Jeremy, do you want to tell us your score, or do you want to tell us your?
I'm
kidding.
My password.
I'm kidding.
I
You
forgot
don't
my
have,
password to my account.
you
I
don't,
can't get in.
you don't have to tell us your score.
No, for my ACT. Oh, yeah.
But okay.
I actually
You have that written down?
able to get my PSAT scores for both years that I took it. Because of errors in the software related to my account.
Oh, no. Okay, but let's go with number 6 first, since you finished. I know you finished it, so go ahead and.
So I did A, the use of a pseudonym, B, the fact that no one knew who she was, C, her success and more lucrative stories, D, the fame of her Taylor works.
Okay. Can you read it one more time so everyone can hear it?
A, the use of a pseudonym, B, the fact that no one knew who she was, C, her success and more lucrative stories, D, the fame of her Taylor works.
Okay. Who wants to take a guess at that?
I guess that it's the last.
And why?
Because if I remember correctly, that's basically Lisa.
Okay. Any other
Could be wrong.
guesses on this? Since Jeremy wrote this.
What was the last one? The fame of her Taylor works.
And it
mine
says,
for-
it's more likely that the immense fame of her Taylor works has simply overshadowed.
Yeah. So the consensus sounds like D.
Great words.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best one. Yeah. The pseudonym would have been like the trick that people would fall for, but that was the correct one. That was great. You guys are good at writing questions. That means you guys understand the writers. That's what it's all about. We'll do it one more time with this short little paragraph. Oh, life. Life is so difficult when you have to turn a page.
It's because I have everything on top of it.
Okay. All right. You guys are going to be up because those 2 guys did it. So,
Oh, no.
yeah. So you're going to have to share your answers, the right and the wrong. They're not? Okay. Not every school.
Yeah.
I think it just depends. Jeremy, you ready? Not ready? Do 7 or 8? This time.
Maybe 20 more seconds.
Yeah. Okay, let's get back into the discussion here. I know you're still finishing up 8. Did someone call out dibs on 7?
Perhaps.
That's Emma. Do you want to read 7 for us?
Mhm.
Okay.
According to the passage, Marshall's appointment to the Supreme Court was especially fitting, line 4, because I'm just going to switch to number 2.
Okay.
A, he was turned away from law school. B, as he had a career devoted to racial injustice. C, he wasn't the first African American in the Supreme Court. D, he was enslaved.
Okay. Does anyone want to take a guess on her answers? Go ahead, Dominic.
B, that he was devoted to fighting racial injustice.
Emma. It is correct. Yeah, that was right. That would have been what they were expecting for an answer choice.
Funny thing, our A and B were exactly the same word for word.
Really? Okay, that's pretty funny there.
I switched mine actually.
Okay,
What I do is I write out the first answer that I want to be correct first.
I see.
So I had to switch it.
Just to give it some variety, so the reader would go beyond the first answer choice. All right, Jeremy, you want to read yours for number 8?
Sure. The author most likely notes that Marshall's grandfather had been enslaved in order to A, demonstrate his resolve, B, display how his grandfather was an inspiration for him. C, show why his acceptance was key to his life. Or D, give his reason for being racially sensitive.
Okay, that's interesting. Anyone want to?
Can you read them again?
Wait,
They're really long.
did I,
Go ahead and read this again.
did I forget to give the right answer?
I'm not 100%. Well, not really. I do think, no, I think I see a right answer. I do see the right answer.
Maybe it's not like super.
Just read it again so they can hear it. Just let them hear it.
A, demonstrate his resolve. B, display how his grandfather was an inspiration for him. C, show why his acceptance was key to his life. Or D, give his reason for being racially sensitive.
What do you guys think? Did you guys write different answers for your right answers? That's what I'm sensing there. Jeremy, what did you?
I think D was.
Yeah.
Okay, but you also nodded in saying that you had a different correct answer. What was your correct
Well,
answer?
in classic SAT style, I wrote give evidence for a previous claim.
Interesting. Okay, that's one of those best supports. Okay, and then Dominic, you said you had a different answer also.
Yeah, mine was similar, but like phrased differently to illustrate Marshall's many ties to racial injustice.
Yeah.
Because I didn't find that his grandfather being enslaved was his motivation for racial injustice.
I think it's a combination of them because the sentence itself says, if you cut out the part with the dash, it says, in particular, Marshall's profound sensitivity to racism was brought to the fore in 1930 when he was denied admission. So the sensitivity was actually tied closer to his own rejection from law school, right? But it's just to give a perspective of how racism had been part of his family's past. I think that's really what they were trying to say with that. You had to be careful with that. I think that's probably why people were like, I'm not 100% sure if I would go with that. But this is interesting. When you discuss it and you think about it from a writer's perspective, then you really start to think about how would you write the answers? What would you be looking for, right? So that was pretty good on everyone's part. So good job. Any comments, thoughts about reading comprehension? Anything about the wrong answer types? That was pretty good? Okay. Let's move forward with math. We're talking about probability. And probability is typically something that comes up in the middle section, sometimes later section. But the bottom line is that it all falls under the formula of number of desired outcomes versus number of possible outcomes. So if you were rolling a dice and you're a die, not a dice, a die, and you said, I want a 3, your probability of rolling a 3 is 7? There's only 6 faces on a die, so it would be 1 out of 6. This is the desired outcome, and this is the total possible outcome. And that's what probability would all be about. Now, I'm bringing this up, even though it's not even on this page here, because the sentence that follows it is, if event A is independent of event B, the probability that event A and event B will occur is the product of the two probabilities. Sounds very mathy, right? What they're saying is, the word I want you guys to focus on there, or circle, is the word independent, because that's really what I'm trying to define here. If we rolled one die and I flipped a coin, if I said, what's the probability of getting heads on a coin, what would that be? These are really easy. That's it. These are independent events. This is the die. This is the coin, right? Because no matter what you get on that die, it doesn't affect the coin, right? They're independent. So independent basically means that both events can occur. That's what it means. The opposite of independent events, they don't really write it here, but this is why I want to kind of focus on, is dependent, or also known as exclusive events. So dependent or exclusive would be like, of course in the world of the real world, this wouldn't be true, but in the math world, if you said probability of rain is 70%, so the probability of no rain would be 30%. 30%. So that's dependent. Like if it did rain, then the 70% came true. But if it didn't rain, that would be also dependent, and the 30% came true. They're exclusive in the math world. In the world, rain and see what I did talking about the world is the chance that and it happens, then 30% will be the opposite of it. That's you. The difference is for independent, you multiply. For mutually exclusive or dependent, they're called the same. They're called both of these terms. You add. So this would be the 70% plus 30% equals 100%. So that's what that is. Do you need something here? Okay, we're having a class, and it's actually being broadcast on YouTube. So, okay. So, anyways, so let's continue here. The point behind this is you have to interpret the situation in the math problem to determine, is it independent? Are the two events independent, or are they mutually exclusive? So I'll give you some examples of mutually exclusive. If a baby is born, it's born either boy or girl, right? If scientists said it's a 56% chance of being a boy, then it's a 44% chance of being a girl. That's what that is. And they'll add up to 100%. So those are mutually exclusive. Number one is a pretty straightforward question here. Let's go with Jeremy Hubinger. You want to do that?
What is the probability that both of the numbers selected will be less than 4? Well, so this 2 is 1/3, and this 1 is 2/3. So multiply those.
You would multiply it. So 2/9 would be correct on that one. So that would be your best answer on that. These are independent since one list does not affect the other one. You did the right thing there. They say probability rarely occurs in the first third. It's usually in the later difficulty. Probable form in which this comes out is typically you're going to have to figure these out. And to make it harder, they usually combine topics such as, which is kind of interesting. That's what you're going to see with this. The explanation of, even before you read it, is that the probability that a point randomly selected within a figure will fall in a shaded region of a figure. That's a very, very common math problem there. So, you want to read that? Number 2.
The figure that is triangle. The area of the square is 4. What's the probability that a point randomly selected from the interior of the figure will fall in the shaded region? Okay.
So there's a lot of topics in here that we've got to deal with here.
Oh, okay, just highlight that in there. I mean, I need to think about it, so.
Okay, does anyone want to chime in here? Let's all talk about this one. What are the strategies here? So they're dealing with probability. What do you guys think? It's a mid-range question, I think. Yeah, go ahead, Dominic.
What is this question first? Is the rectangles are 90 degrees?
If they are rectangles, they have to be. So these are 90.
So then we know that the angles inside the shaded triangle are 45.
We know that because this is also a square. so that's true. Because they did tell us that is a square there also. One square, two rectangles. Yeah. Okay. Does that help us? Jeremy, did you want to add? Good.
That's also
Right.
the same.
That's correct.
So it's 1/2.
Right. So he said 1, 1√2. So this essentially is how much, and this is how much?
Oh, yeah.
4. Correct. This is 4. This is 4. 4√2. Good. Someone memorized them. That's very good. So this pretty much takes us really far. Why is that? We can pretty much figure out the rest of it with all this information here. Because they gave us some more information that we haven't even put on here yet.
The area of the square is 4.
Right. So that tells you what about the square?
That type of square.
Yep. There's only one square here.
Then its sides are 2 and 2.
Correct. So you have 2 and 2 here. They gave us the 4 and the 4 here, right? Yeah, so that's right. So if that's the case, can we figure this problem out? What are we looking for?
That area is 8, 16, 4.
So the rectangles, I'm just going to use this. This area is equal to 8.
Yeah,
Times 2.
16.
Okay, so
Plus
that's,
4, so it's 20 area that's not shaded.
and this area equals 4. And then what about the area of the triangle?
That's 2 times 4 is 8.
Right, it's going to be 8 because this is base, this is height. 16 divided by 2 equals 8. Yeah, so that's 8. So we have all those pieces there. How do we set up the final answer here? Dominic?
We divide 8 by 28.
You're right. So this is 8 divided by 28. We added up all those areas together. We reduce this and we get yeah, you're there. Just finish it.
Oh, sorry.
You pretty much got it. Yeah.
We get
2/7. That should be our answer there. And that's it right there. Good job. So yeah, the probability is always, in these cases, shaded divided by total. And that's exactly what we have there. So good job. These are pretty easy. A lot of it is observational. Let's look at number 3 here. Emma, you want to read that?
Wait, what do we reduce it down to again?
It's 2/7 because 8/28 equals 2/7. Okay. You ready?
Yes, I am. I just
Okay.
have to flip back and forth.
Yeah, that's fine.
Number 3.
Yeah.
If a shape is picked randomly from the group, which of the following has the greatest probability of being picked? It's all random. I would think that it would all be equal, but I guess.
Look at the
I'm wrong.
answers.
I would look at the answers.
I know, I looked at the answers and that's why I'm confused.
Circle with dots. How many circles have dots here?
Oh, okay. Don't worry about it. I'd say B.
It has to be shaped with stripes. It's so general, but like 4 out of
There's only
5.
one of them don't match.
Right, 4 out of the 5 shapes have stripes, so that's probably the best probability there. So that's your best answer.
I thought that was just how they were identified.
Oh, really?
for a
Okay.
second there.
All right. Let's go over here. Jeremy, you want to read number 4?
chosen at random and set all the which of the following must be equal to one is the probability that Z is greater than the average of one of the yeah.
For which one are you
For
saying?
one, yes.
Greater than the average.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or no, I guess no, because greater implies also not equal to.
Okay.
So two, the probability that Z is greater than the median of the integers. Yeah, also no, because it's greater implies not equal to.
Okay.
And the probability that Z is median, yeah, that's two. So that's one. So, three.
Okay. Does everyone agree with that? Dominic is already saying no. Jeremy, you agree?
Yeah.
That it's what Jeremy said, or what
Yes,
Dominic?
I agree with what Jeremy said.
Okay. Emma, you get a good hand? Okay. What do you think about this one?
I'm very lost.
Okay. Dominic, you want to explain why you disagree?
Well, I think it's A, only one.
Roman numeral one.
Roman, yeah, one.
Okay.
Because for three, the probability that Z is even, the set of 12 different integers could all be odd.
Correct.
So,
You could knock it out just like that.
Oh, I thought it said 1 through 12.
5.
Oh, it
okay.
says 1, 2, 12.
That's why I did this, just so you guys
Yeah.
can visualize what's going on here.
I read that.
So that's true. Roman numeral 3 is gone, just like that.
Yeah, it's not a true option.
no, it's one.
So now the question is it 1 or 2?
Wait, it goes
Yeah.
19, 21.
Oh, because the average of 12 numbers is not one of the numbers.
Well, here.
Wait, which one did you just say?
Yeah. Well, Dominic, do you have more to say? Because you kind of were already disagreeing.
Yeah, the probability for two, Roman numeral 2, the probability that Z is greater than the median of the integers, I didn't think was true because, if you had if all 12 integers were, like, I guess again it was, well, for me, I was just thinking that if there were any 12 integers, you could, it's a 1/2, it's a 50-50 chance that Z is going to be greater than the mean.
Okay. Does everyone agree with that? Now, Jeremy has
No.
another thought.
2.
Okay.
2.
Yeah.
Because for 1, you can have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 2 million.
Exactly.
Average, then only 1 would be over the average.
Yes.
Where the median is.
Exactly that. That's what I was looking for, because there's nothing in here that tells us these numbers have to be consecutive or even close to each other. And so usually when I teach this, I say, well, why don't we make this last one 23 billion, you know? If that's the case, and you divide 23 billion by 6, it's somewhere around 6 point something, no, 7 point something billion is the average. And like Jeremy said, only this number is greater than it. So that's not a 50-50, right? So median could not be, so average could not be true, but median can. Because no matter what, the median is going to be 12 here. And there are 6 numbers greater than 12 no matter what. Because it just means it's in the middle.
Oh, I said average earlier.
You meant median.
Yeah.
But they put both of them on there, so you know, average is obviously different in this case. But you guys can see from discussion, it really came to life. And you guys were like, wait, holy, this.
As long as the 2 numbers.
Yeah, but even if, well, no, because even if they were, let's say,
That's not really the question now, so.
yeah, even if you had more than one that
It
was the
says
same.
12 different.
Yeah, it's 12 different. So let's go to number 5 here. You want to read this one first, Sharon?
Sure.
This one over here. He's reading number 5.
The figure ABCD is a square. Oh, not that. What did I just say? In the figure above, ABCD is a square. E is the midpoint of AD. What's the probability that a point randomly selected from the interior of the square will fall within the shaded region?
You come up with an equation.
Okay, so E is the midpoint. So what I would do is I'd make a point between C and B that's also a midpoint, like X or something. I draw a line across, and now it's 2 equal rectangles, half of which is the shaded region.
Yeah,
So that's that.
but that helps.
So it's 1/4.
So it is 1/4. That's right.
Yeah.
That's all. If you split a rectangle directly down the middle, or if you split any equal quadrilateral. Quadrilateral, straight up. Down the middle, both sides are equal, that's all.
Yeah, they're both, this is equal to this. So this is 1/4 of the whole thing. That's correct. No calculation necessary here. So that's correct.
We
Good.
don't have time for a break today.
Maybe. Let's do a little bit more. I think we'll be able to do it. I want to talk about this math part real quick because I don't want to lose too much time on that. So you guys have probably dealt with sequences and series before, and for these, you're going to have to memorize quite a few formulas on this. And even this worksheet doesn't have all of them on it. So usually when you have a geometric or exponential sequence, it is growing or decreasing by the same ratio, meaning like you keep multiplying times 3 times 3 times 3. Or if it's decreasing, you're multiplying it by a fraction over and over and over, so it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So a lot of times it's just discovering the trend. So Emma, you want to read number 6 for us and tell us what you would do with this?
If the geometric sequence is upward, is the value of x. What is OWB?
I'm sorry?
Just doing some math.
Okay. I'm just going to write the problem on the board. Oops. First things first, when you see something like this, look for a trend. And when I say trend, look for either growing or decreasing.
Yeah.
Decreasing.
So the first decreases by a third, and after that decreases by a fourth.
Okay. But they do give us a big clue here, right? And what's the clue? What do you guys think? Geometric. So what are you going to do now? I don't want to give it away. Yeah, it's going to be a multiplication or division. So what is multiplied by the first term in order to get 1? Dominic?
3/4.
3/4. So this was multiplied by 3/4. And then the same thing happens again to get 3/4 again, right? So what's x equal to?
No, it's not. It's worth.
Yeah, so that is 9/16.
Oh yeah, that one.
That's not that hard. 3 times 3, 4 times 4. So it's 9/16.
Probably should have been obvious at the last one.
Right. So the formula they give us right here, as you guys may have seen this, AN meaning the nth term that you're looking for, like say the problem wants the 27th term, right? How do you find it? Well, you need to know the first term, which is A1, and and the ratio, meaning how much is it either growing or decreasing. And this one that we just did, ratio was 3/4, right? And the number of terms. So let's pretend we have the same thing right here. Our A1 here was 4/3. If we want the 27th term, we would say, let me erase this over here. A1 equals 4/3. We would have said 4/3 times 3/4, taken to the 27 minus 1. I would do this on calculator because it's going to be really ugly and difficult otherwise. But that's how you would set up a geometric formula here. This section kind of skips ahead, but I want to give you guys the formula for arithmetic sequence. Do you guys remember that? Arithmetic sequence looks like this. AN is equal to A1 plus D times N minus 1. Let me erase everything here. Do you guys understand what this means? This means if something is growing when you add to it or decreasing when you subtract from it, your D here is your difference. And so it's either something you're adding or something you're subtracting. And the nth term again is like, let's say you want the 27th term, that would be 27 minus 1. One more formula I'm going to give you guys is the sum formula. Do you guys know this one? So this one's really tricky. It's A1 plus AN divided by 2 times N. Or it can be, well, some people write it like this. N divided by 2 times A1.
Is the first number of the sequence called A1 or A0? I can't remember.
A1 meaning first term.
Yeah.
Yeah, first term times the plus the nth term times N divided by 2 equals the sum of terms. Kind of tricky. So those are good to know. You know, those are things that are not going to be on the front of the SAT. Sum of the terms of N terms. Let's say you want 27 terms added up. That's how you do it. So, okay. I'm going to move into another topic here. I know this is kind of like sweeping really quickly into these, but this is permutations and combinations. You guys have seen this with probability, right? Permutations deal with questions in which order matters. So it is affected, by what order people stand in a row. This is an example. This is a classic question. How many different ways could 4 people stand in a row? Have you guys seen this before? 4th grade. 5th. Wow. Okay, so explain it to us.
Oh, I don't remember.
Okay.
It was a long time
If
ago.
it was 4th grade. Does anyone want to explain this one to me? Go ahead, Dominic.
Well, is the right answer 16?
Close, but not exactly. Okay, Jeremy, you had an idea for this one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's pretend these are the 4 places that people can stand in a row. In the beginning, you have 4 people. We'll call them A, B, C, and D.
It's not 40.
Is it not 12?
A, B, C, and D.
Wait, is it 12?
If one person stands here, we'll call it person C. Then there's 3 possible people who could be here, which is A, B, and D. If you put person D here, then you've got A and B. We'll put person B here. And then obviously A is the only person, so A. What you do here is you multiply your total number of possibilities. 4, 3, 2, 1. So this is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, 24. So the answer is 24. Does this look familiar?
I tried to do it, but what I did is I did 4 times 2 and then 4 times 4.
Okay. The formula that you use for this, for permutations, looks like this. N factorial, R factorial. Oh, sorry, N minus R factorial. N minus R factorial. Have you guys seen that before? So the way this works is N is the total number of people. N is total. R is desired. And the way it works is there's 4 people and there's 4 possible spaces for them to stand on. So this is 4 factorial. And this is 4 minus 4 factorial, which is 0 factorial. 0 factorial equals 1. So this is just 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 equals 24.
What's the situation where the bottom thing does not?
That would be if there's only 3 spaces for them to stand on.
Okay.
And one person gets left out no matter what. So it'll be, 3 spaces, and that would have been different for, but it would still come out as 24 because the last one doesn't exist. Kind of weird, but yeah. Because 1 factorial is 1.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird. Questions on, I know I'm speeding, I'm like going lightning pace through this. Do you guys need to take a break? You guys want to do that real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. I can sense that, and I don't want to push you guys to do something that. Let's do that really quickly. here. I know that this is kind of dealing with a lot of probability questions. The previous one was dealing with people standing in a line and the order actually affected the turnout, like if person A was the first person or whatever. Those are always, when order matters, it's permutation. When order doesn't matter, you're dealing with groups and the possibility of selecting people in a group. So an example here that they give us here is number 7. How many different groups of 2 people could you pick out of a group of 4? You could sit here and label the people as A, B, C, and D, and you could go A and B, A and C, A and D, and you could sit there and go B and C, B and D, and you could do this for a while, right?
Or you could just draw 4 circles and circle it so that each one doing that.
So I haven't done it that method. Maybe that works. Sounds sort of Venn diagram-ish, but
4 dots, so you make a square with circles, and those are 2 different groups, but these 2 people have to
let me see if you can do that and see if you get the same answer as we would
I
get
mean, I
here.
already got the answer.
Oh, you did it. You did do it. Okay. Does anybody know any other method besides writing it out? This is a classic combination question because the order doesn't matter. They're not identifying them as individuals, but there's any 2 people can be selected on this. So you're going to use the combination formula where C is equal to n factorial divided by r factorial n minus r factorial. R again is selected people, which is 2. N is the total number of people. So this is going to equal 4 factorial, 2 factorial. This is 4 minus 2 factorial. Let's see if we get this. You can't see it?
I can see
Okay,
a little bit.
I'll do it up here. So this is going to be 4, 3, 2, 1. And this is going to be 2 times 1. That's r factorial.
4 factorial r. Wait, what is it? 2 factorial?
2 factorial and then 4 minus 2. N minus r is 4 minus 2.
4 minus 2 factorial.
Yeah. So when you do all this, you don't need to sit there and multiply it out. When I wrote it like this, it was intentional so you could see that, hey, you got the same thing in the numerator and the denominator. You can cancel certain numbers out. The 2 and the 2, the 1 and the 1. This 2 goes in here. This is 2 times 3, so 2 times 3 equals 6. So that means that there's 6 possible combinations. Is that what you got? Hey, maybe your technique works.
Can I show it on the board?
You want to? Go for it. I've never heard of that one, so I didn't want to run with it because I wasn't sure how it worked.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Hey, that worked.
That would be hard with very big numbers.
Oh, I knew that it was a small number, so.
So you can do that. I mean, that worked.
I didn't say
it
it would work for big numbers.
worked. I mean, I haven't seen that before, so I wasn't ready to endorse, but that worked. You guys want to know the fastest way to do this thing? Of course, memorizing the formula is good, but how many of you guys know how to do this on your calculator? It's really fast on the calculator. On your calculator, most of you guys are using things like the TI. That's probably what most of you guys are using.
That seems like a problem that's more likely to be on the no calculator section now. I don't.
Yeah, if it is with calculator, you can do this. If it's not, you hit math, calculate, PRB, which means probability, and then you hit combination. It's going to be 4. It's going to C, NCR, and then 2, and then hit enter, and that's how you do it on the if it was allowed, if the calculators are allowed. If they're not allowed, you can't do it. So, but that's just one of those things. You'll probably have to play with it, but you guys know what I mean, where you hit math, you switch it to PRB for probability, and then you get it. So usually you press 4, then you do all those clicks around until you get to PRB, and then you hit NCR, and then you hit 2, and then hit enter. Boom, and you'll get the answer. So these are usually high difficulty questions. For the sake of time, I'll let you guys do all 3 and we'll talk about them. So do that for a second. Yeah, 8, 9, 10. Okay, let's get back into the discussion here. For number 8, how many of you guys went with the formula versus the calculator on this one? Formula? Calculator. You checked it? Let's hear, I want to hear from Jeremy over here, Rodenberg, since you didn't use the
Oh,
calculator.
I used the calculator.
Oh, you
for
did?
the formula.
Oh, you did?
Oh,
Okay.
I thought you meant 4 times 4 times, whatever.
Yeah, but that's okay. I just want to hear what anyone who didn't use the calculator didn't use the calculator with the NCR. How many guys? What I should say is, how many guys did it using the NCR function versus calculating it? Okay, so nobody just went number NCR bam like that, or okay. Well, okay. Let's hear from. So nobody did that. Okay, but I haven't heard from Jeremy over here. So what did you get for the 12th on this one?
Oh, for the
Number 8.
let's see.
2,097,000, all that. Yeah, that's correct. This would most likely be on calculator because no one's going to do it by hand.
Yeah, but for a small amount, it would be on that.
If it is, yeah. Like if it was just a 5th term, well, they already have 5 terms. But if it was like 6th or 7th term, it would not allow you. It would be on the no calculator section.
See what you do here
Mhm.
is that you multiply each one of those by 4.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that method is something that I've heard of, but yeah. But okay. Do you want to talk about number 9 though, Emma?
Sure. The first term in a sequence is 5. Every subsequent term is obtained by adding 3 to the previous term divided by -1, which is the 142nd term in the sequence.
Mhm.
So obviously, it can't be the same thing as the first term. You're adding 3. So subsequent, the one before, and it's 142nd. So I got rid of B and C, and then I did.
It's going to be a different answer because A and D are not the answer. I'm going to tell you that. Did anybody else get a different answer than A or D? All right, Dominic?
I got B.
Okay, tell us how you did it.
So, I just applied what was given to the equation. So we're solving for a something, 142. And so we know that is, this first term is 5. And then multiply that by 3, because you're adding 3. And then I did 3 over -1, which is the same as -3. And then I put that all to the 142nd power -1. What is that?
Interesting. Keep going. I was writing while you were doing it, but keep going.
And then I plugged it in and I got it.
Interesting. What I was thinking was this: just by following this, there's one step, second step. Let me label it here. First, second, and then third and fourth, and it returns back to 5 every 4 steps, right? So if these things, this sequence happens 142 times. 142 divided by 4 is 3, 12, 22, 5, 20. The remainder 2 is the most important thing. The remainder is 2. That means what happens is you go through this cycle 35 times, where it goes from here and ends up 1, 2, 3, 4, ends up back at 5. You're doing it you're doing it 35 times, and then you have remainder 2, so 1, 2, -8. But you did the same thing, and you got -8, so that kind of worked. But that's what I was thinking on that one. Okay, so good. How about number 10, Jeremy over here?
So, there's a 1/10 chance that there's a 2 in 1,000 digit. Oh, how many? Well, let's see.
Is it a 1/10?
The answer is its own.
I'm sorry?
I don't think the answer is.
No.
No, it's not.
I misread the question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does anyone have an answer they want to share? Jeremy?
Right, so it's a 1/10 chance that the 2,000 and a 1/5 chance that the 1/7.
Why is it a? Okay, I understand what you're doing. Okay, 1/10. Yeah. All right. Okay. I'll go with what.
It's not a 2 chance because.
One. I understand what you're doing. Keep going.
Because
1 in 10 for 2. Okay. Keep going. I'll hear what you're gonna.
So it's either 1/50th or something that I realized. So is it 1/50th?
You guys are going into probability
Yeah.
here,
This is about
and it's not
how-
asking about probability. So that's kind of why I was like, I'm gonna walk with you for a little bit. Let me just do this and make it really, really simple. It's a
How many
4-digit numbers. They've already designated 2 as the thousandth number. Then for the units digit, it can only be 1 or 7. What are the possible numbers here for the hundreds digit? 0 through 9, that's right. And the same
So
thing.
that's 10 possible.
That's right.
Possible. That's what I did. I did 10 possible, 10 possible, 2 possible, but I didn't know how to go from there, so I did exactly that. Oh no, I did 10.
Wait, why is that less?
Oh, I got,
Why is that much harder?
You got 200?
yeah, I got 200.
There you go. That's the right answer.
And you wrote 1 instead of 10.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I just
Okay.
wrote it too quickly.
Yeah, I just did
So-
10 times 10 times 2.
You got it. Yeah, that's what they weren't really looking for probability, but instead just total outcome. And that's what they were looking for. So it's 200 on this one. Good. Okay, good. Let's move forward. That was a more challenging section dealing with probability and permutations and stuff. This is, I think, bringing it back down to earth. This is talking about union of sets versus intersection of sets. Union means that you get 2 sets of numbers or letters, and they put them together, and you only put together the ones that are in common. So if I had set A was 1, 2, and 3, and set B was 2, 3, 4, A union of B is just going to be 2 and 3. Or, no, it's going to, I'm sorry. Elements that are in either or both. No, this is going to be everything together. So I'm talking intersection there for a second. If it was A intersected with B, it's just the points of intersection, which would be 2 and 3. That's what I was trying to say. So the symbols, union looks like a U, intersection looks like an N, and that's what it would be. So any questions on that? Let's go ahead with number 11 here. Emma, you want to read 11 for us?
Yes, okay. Set C is 4, 6, 8, B, F, H. Set D consists of the numbers between 0 and 5 exclusive and the vowels. The intersection of C and D includes which of the following? 4. Just 4. I go with B.
It should be just 4. And when they say numbers between 0 and 5, they're excluding 0, excluding 5. So it's just 1 to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the only thing that's an intersection between the two.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it would be like A.
oh yeah, the vowels. I left those out.
But there is no possible
E,
vowels.
I, correct. There's no vowels in the set C. So usually logic questions, they're usually included with puzzle solving or anything. Just break it down piece by piece to make it familiar, because sometimes they combine a lot of different math topics. If it doesn't seem familiar and you're kind of like, I don't know what it is, move on and come back. As you guys know, you can guess on this test. Just fill in the bubble if that worst case scenario happens on this. Jeremy Rodenberg, you want to read this one, 12?
Sure. Whose business Chuck E. Farnsworth designed 3 different logos that are each based on his initials. For which of the 3 logos does there exist at least one line of symmetry? So one has 1. Second. I think it's just 1.
Yeah, that would be correct. It's a horizontal line of symmetry instead of a vertical one, because Roman numerals 2 and 3 could have neither, but Roman numeral 1, obviously, if you use the horizontal, would be symmetrical.
Where's the line of symmetry?
If you did it this way,
Oh,
C
oh, yeah. That makes sense.
and B,
Oh, yeah, I see.
then you could kind of spin it on the horizontal line and it would still be the same,
Well,
no matter how you spun it.
it looks like number 1 is purposely designed to make you not think of the horizontal one. By the 2 on the side being bigger and the one in the middle being tiny.
Yeah, I guess deceptive ways of doing it, yeah. Okay, let's continue here. Do you guys want to do it quietly and then we can go over it together? That'll be faster. Yeah, 13, 14, 15.
Oh.
Well, they would be straight cuts, three-dimensional
I know, but
cuts.
can you get like a Pringles shaped cut?
I'm not sure about that, but the answer would be 8 on that one. Let's talk about the other two real quick. Jeremy Hubinger, what did you get for 13?
Shape.
D is correct, and tell us why D. Yeah, there's no restriction. There's no reason why a negative number can't be even, so all 10 of them could be negative even. So good.
Yeah.
And number 14, who wants to
I
share
got
with me?
halfway through that, and then I got 89 is my answer.
That's big.
Yeah, that is about 40 above the current
Possible,
options,
yeah.
So,
Jeremy,
I
what'd you
got 51.
51, and what'd you do?
Well, 110, like there are a total of 11 possible numbers that have 3 digits.
Right, so 100 to 110, that's 11 times 3 digit. Yeah, and the next one?
And then I just subtracted like 20 minus 11 times 2.
20 minus 11.
Like, because she.
Oh, 20 slips, right.
Slips, yeah.
So yeah, there's 9
that
times 2, which is 18, which is equal to 51. What that means is,
So I got the first part.
this is the slips that are in the jar, and this is digits. So this means 33 digits, and this means 18, so it's 51. That's what, so going from the
See, what I
most
did,
to just double digits. What were you?
I just took the bottom, I took it up so that it would be to 71,
Did you count up from 51?
51, and then I subtracted.
But they're looking for the maximum combined. So you need to start from the 3-digit numbers. That's why he said 100 to 110.
No, I just took those away. I said that those would be the ones that he had taken because the maximum would have included those with 3. So I did 11 times 3, but then I did 28 times 2.
28. That would be too many. Because there's only maximum 20 slips of paper. This adds up to 20. 20. He already did 11 slips of paper.
What I misinterpreted.
9 more slips of paper.
I misinterpreted it as he took out 20 slips now inside of the container with the total maximum that you can have.
Right. Okay. And then, yeah, we talked about 15, so that's really good. Let's move on to the writing section. We've got like just over 12 minutes, and I know this is probably the easiest section for you guys because it's mainly dealing with grammar. This is a quick rehash of technique where we read the sentence or question and identify the issue. There could be an error. In bold, it says correct the sentence in your own words. Before you look at the answer choices, think of how you would change it. Then select the answer choice that matches your prediction. If no error, choose A, which is written as the original. Go ahead and do 1 to 3. We'll go over these real quick.
Wait, I just have to fit all these papers.
For number 1, I don't know who I left. I've lost order of who's
Oh, wait,
next.
what was the last question?
That was the oranges. We talked about
No,
it.
we didn't do the oranges one.
Let's
I think
just-
Jeremy went last.
Okay, Emma, you want to just tell us what you got for 1?
The thing that I'm not good at is commas, so this is the one that I wasn't sure. I chose A, but I thought it might have been B.
I think it's,
The reason why A doesn't work, the original, is because it's just a simple comma between 2 sentences. And if there's 2 sentences, you need either a conjunction, a period, or a semicolon. So the best one here is D with a semicolon. Okay. What about number 2, Dominic? What'd you get on this one?
I got D
D's correct.
because it's talking about 2,000 years ago, so the verb tense is past tense, and so it's was and not is.
Right.
And also, it's not be because that is, the it is wrong.
The apostrophe.
Yeah.
Right. Correct.
It is. It's just
Good. All right. Let's continue. Number 3, Jeremy, on this side. Right. Generally doesn't sound right. It's off on this one. All they're saying here is if you don't spot an error, use an elimination strategy where you're going through each of the answer choice, identifying errors in the answer choices so you can say no to them. Guess when you can eliminate at least one answer. I mean, guess because there's no penalty, right? And don't forget between 5 and 8 of them will be correct as written. So don't be afraid to choose A on that one. Okay, go ahead and do 4, 5, and 6.
Hey, Chris.
Okay. Let's talk about these real quick. Jeremy, you want to tell us what you got for number 4 on this?
I got D.
D's correct. Tell us how you got that.
Because all of the other ones are wrong.
True. The first thing I would narrow down is you're talking about people, so it has to be who,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
and then selecting between C and D.
It's for phone, I think.
Right? Between C and D, D is more concise, and I would go with that one. It just sounds weird in C. It just sounds kind of strange. How about the next one, Emma? Did you get 5?
Oh, no,
You
no,
just kind
I just spent the entire time trying to look at it and like the letters started moving around and it all sounded
That's all
right.
good. That's all good. Okay. Dominic, 5.
Yeah, this one was weird. I got C.
Cellular telephone on airplanes, tax, right, are The problem with it is passengers is plural, so telephones has to be plural. So C would not work on that one. B looks better. Passengers are now permitted to use cellular telephones on airplanes, although with certain restrictions. That's clean enough. You don't need to say with certain restrictions for it. Was
Which one are we
unnecessary.
reading one?
It's B.
Oh, yeah, it's not just-
And then Jeremy, number 6. B's the best one here.
I got one right.
Yeah, so it's Catherine Dunham, who also was trained as a anthropologist, and then it goes straight into studied dance in Jamaica, Haiti, and Senegal. So that works really good. I'm going to try to get us through 3 more of these. We're probably not going to make it through the whole thing, but they're just saying that SAT correct choices will not always correct improving sentences and improving paragraphs the way you expect them to. Although there may be additional ways to correct identifying sentence error mistakes, only the underlined segments can be changed. So that basically means if it wasn't underlined, don't adjust it. That's all they're saying. So, or don't imagine that it's being adjusted. Let's try 7, 8, and 9 real quick. That's probably as far as we'll get today.
Our own,
Yeah,
considering that we have 2 minutes.
yeah. We're going to do it as fast as we can.
What's the difference between what's there in A for heat?
For which one?
What's there in A for heat?
A is the same as what's.
A is the original.
Yeah,
Not all of them.
Why does it just say no change?
that's the way they've been this whole time.
Whole time.
A has always been no change.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was just choosing the best one.
Wait. It underlines a lot of text in
Yeah.
9, and you can't cut all of that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you look at 9, if you replace all of the underlined text, it would have.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's.
I think it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I think it went beyond it should have stopped at is. Yeah. It's kind of strange there. Good call on that. Well, good to know that you're on 9 already.
Sure, whatever, that works.
Okay. All right, you guys ready? So number 7 should be B, and 1 original. It's pretty obvious. It's looking consistent. 1 vocal, 1 instrumental, 1 original, right? So just being consistent. Number 8 should have been A. This is Strunk and White recommend writing in a natural tone, using figures of speech, omitting needless words.
Well,
Good
B and
essence.
C have words that need to be omitted, and D, needlessly omitting words has a different connotation.
And they start bringing up they and you, which was never brought up before. So those are out.
Ironic.
Number 9 should be A also, borders and undersea canyon, that is. And that was kind of strange. Let's wrap it up here. I just wanted to say thank you guys for being a wonderful group of, SAT students. If I taught here at Bentley, I'd be just as happy to teach you guys in any topic that's out there. You guys are amazing. I hope that you guys continue to study as the SAT is a few weeks away. Don't drop everything and think.
Wait, do
There's
we all
nothing.
have it May 5th?
And May 5th for a lot of you guys.
Yeah.
But, the journey has begun. You guys have already moved very far, and just continue with that. It's good to review your old tests. I'll email those back to you, the 2nd and 3rd one. And thank you guys for letting me teach you guys here at Bentley. So, alrighty.
Does anyone else want a flower crown?
A flower crown? I don't know about that.
Not really.